after only a month, is forced to euthanize his digital waifu because his real-world girlfriend wasn't having any of it. Claims the AI had gotten shorter and less intricate with his responses after prolonged periods of time with him. Welcome to Nerd Chatter, a weekly podcast where we discuss stories throughout the week from the film and gaming and tech industries. I'm joined today by my two co-hosts, Lucas and Kenny. What up, guys?
What up?
On this week's show, Apple's push for more in-house development, CES highlights and AMD cards burning up, and CryptoZoo and Logan Paul being the biggest idiot on earth again. But first, depending on what platform you're listening on, make sure to follow or subscribe or hit us with that like if you're on YouTube. It'd be much appreciated. Now, CryptoZoo and Logan Paul. Have you guys heard about this?
I've heard a little bit. I try to keep myself away from Logan Paul as much as possible.
Yeah,
Any of the Paul brothers.
Both of the Paul brothers. Yeah, it'd be a good idea just to stay away. They're literally ruining boxing, but that's my own gripe. You guys know how I am about boxing. I don't fuck with that. It's just like, don't fuck with boxing.
Making the PFL, dog. It's going to be way better than UFC. Just wait.
Yeah.
So I'll just give a little rundown, mainly because I'm sure a lot of people the holidays just truly didn't give a shit. But this is an interesting one just because, this guy has had some drama in the past. You guys remember the whole Japan trip that he took?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
To a certain forest. That's
what made him famous, though.
I mean, a Vine made him famous, and then everything else made him stupid. That's for sure. But when it comes to this story, I'll just kind of give it a rundown because I do have it in bullet points in terms of like what went down. But in August of 2001, Logan Paul announces a 6-month-long project called CryptoZoo. Now, CryptoZoo is an NFT-based game, air quotes, that he mentioned on one of his podcasts, Impulsive, where he stated that basically you purchase these NFTs and they're eggs, and then you can hatch the eggs, which will give you an animal. So, naturally you get a gorilla out of an egg.
So digital Yamagachis?
Basic, yes, but they don't move, they don't do anything. And basically, this is trash. So basically what you would do is like you can hatch these eggs, and then you can breed them with other hatched animals to make hybrid animals. And then there's a certain level of rarity that comes along with those hybrid animals, and then they could, burn the NFTs, take the value and reinvest or cash out or what have you. And a concept that he stressed at the time was, this new inventive way of handling NFTs and yada yada. I've been working forever on this project, yada yada. Kids love it. That's one thing he kept saying is like, kids love it. It's a game. They love it. And it's like, oh yeah, it's a fucking innocent little game, for sure.
Kids and NFTs. That's
it makes complete sense.
Naturally, you want them on the blockchain, children, But basically, it turns out he teamed up with these individuals that are like known to be shady, outright shady. People that have been shady like to him and like around him and shit. So, it leads one to believe that he was aware of just how shady these people were. And, it kind of gets laid out in a 3-part series done by CoffeeZilla. I'm not sure if you've seen any of the CoffeeZilla videos. Individual likes to go and kind of tear down rug pulls and scams and stuff, and does some pretty decent, journalism, and actually kind of digs a bit. But this was a blowout, just a 3-part series where he talked to people, victims. He talked to some of the shady individuals involved, got his hands on some like text messages and emails and shit that are pretty incriminating. And it's another one of those famous lapse in judgment by Logan Paul, much like his trip to Japan. But he went on to make a CoffeeZilla response video, where CoffeeZilla is going on and like, here's the people that he's working with, here's what they did, here's what they said, here's what they ended up doing. It turns out that these people dipped with like $8 million worth of cryptocurrencies. Basically, I mean, it's a pump and dump, right?
Nice. Yeah.
You got the emails, you got the communications between people where they're just like, all right, everybody buy in this time, do this and this and this. He got rug pulled underneath his own feet, you know what I mean? So he was like coordinating with these shady individuals And then they rug pulled before he had the opportunity to do it, which left him standing there with like his dick out and shit.
And then Paul was like, I don't bleed my own blood.
Yeah, he's like, well, I mean, he's like, I'm not the criminal. Like, literally everybody around me is the criminal, not me. Like, what the fuck? Like, how could you possibly believe I'm responsible for this? But in that lapse of judgment, he made a response video where he basically ended up, because one of the claims that he made was that like the developer, the reason the game was broken, which it was just non-functional. You know, you couldn't really hatch if you had certain cryptocurrencies, and the whole thing was bugged and kind of valueless. And you know, the guy that supposedly the company, the guy that was developing this whole thing for him, took the code and fled to like Switzerland and held it for ransom for $1 million. CoffeeZilla got into an interview with this guy and was talking, and he's like, yeah, like we're burning like $50,000 a week at a 30-man team, $50,000 a week essentially out of my own pocket, and he never paid us like at all for months and months of work. He never paid us. He's like, once I figured out that he's basically just going to steal this shit, that I locked the code so that he couldn't, you know, just take it. And then I made, you know, my demands that, you know, I want to be paid for this work. You know, the agreement was that I do work, you give me money. Like, that's how this works. Yes. That's how this whole thing works, my guy.
Everything works.
Right?
Yeah. It's like, bro, it's a pretty simple concept. However, he framed it in the sense that this guy stole it, you know, held it for ransom, you know, yada, yada. And in CoffeeZilla's video, it was very much like, well, okay, we'll call this guy X, you know. This person was the lead developer, and then there's like an interview with him where the guy's explaining the situation. So naturally, Logan Paul's like, the guy that you didn't want to name, his name is this, and he, you know, he has a criminal record from 2002, and yada 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 yada. And it's like, okay, like what the fuck? Like, I guess that's important, but you know, it's 20 years ago, dude. And it turns out that this guy's criminal record may have been expunged. And that the only way to acquire this information was to do a background check, like a manual background check. And then Logan Paul proceeded to blast this information in this video that got like tens of millions of views or some shit. There's a certain, and if you watch like lawyer YouTube, I'm not sure if you guys ever watch any of that, where it's just like, you know, during the Johnny Depp trial, there was a bunch of lawyer like YouTube channels that were
like breaking everything down.
Yeah, where they're all giddy about like details and shit. I love watching those because like they're just like, oh my god,
they go into like specific detail of like
statutes,
explain and explain like all the like little things that you might not know of, and like just full out explain it to so you can understand what's going on.
It's like, okay, so here's what defamation is, and this is how what you're claiming.
It's different than defecation.
Yes, it's not defecating; it's defamation. So basically, the way that it works, and a particular lawyer laid it out, is that in this response video, Logan Paul was like, okay, so this person's a criminal, and this person's a criminal, and this person's a criminal. I'm not at fault. I didn't make any money, which is true. He didn't cash out because he got rug pulled. He's like, this is not my fault, and yada yada. You know, these people are in the wrong. You know, what you're saying is wrong. And in CoffeeZilla's video, he had recorded a conversation with Logan Paul's manager after failing to get into contact with him for like a year, trying to get like information regarding this. Logan Paul was ghosting him, had him blocked on Twitter, so he couldn't contact him directly. You know, was trying everything, but really, truly didn't really care, to be honest. He doesn't need to, you know what I mean? Like, he reached out for comment, got no response, eventually got a hold of his manager, and the manager was like, hey, you're obligated to tell the truth, or, you know, we'll have to do what we need to do. And it's like, are you threatening me with fucking like a lawsuit? Or I'm trying, and they're like, no, we just need to make sure that, you know, what you say is accurate. And he's like, that's why I'm calling you for a comment. I'm not leveling, you know, laying out threats here. I'm simply asking for you to comment on the situation and answer the questions I have. It turns out that CoffeeZilla's in Texas. The manager, I believe, was in LA. Texas is a one-party state. California is a two-party state. I'm surprised people are starting to pick up on this. I've known about this for like decades.
I mean, it's kind of in history class.
I mean, well, no, not that. And a two-party state would mean that if you're on a phone call or in any situation with an individual, both parties need to be aware.
I thought you were going politics on
No. They need to be aware that there's recording happening. Texas is not that way. You can record anybody, and they don't have to be aware of it. However, in California, both parties have to be aware, so that's why you get those little things,
that this conversation is being recorded for quality purposes
and law, legality. So don't sue us, So like, there was a whole discrepancy in there, and that's what he really played on. He's like, you illegally recorded a conversation with my manager. You're a criminal. I'll see you in court. Essentially, was what he laid out, and everybody on the internet was like, "This feels so stupid."
Yeah, but how does that work though? If one party's in a different state and the other party's in another state, so in my state, I need to tell you that you're being recorded, but the other dude's like, I don't need to fucking tell you.
So the way that it goes is California law. I think just law in general in regards to this, it favors the more stringent of states. So CoffeeZilla would be obligated to uphold California law and expectations in that regard, where he would still have to inform them, even though his state doesn't require it. So they take the more strict states' laws.
Paul is right.
Yes. However, there's also a technicality in there where is if there's no reasonable expectation of the call being recorded. However, when Coffee reached out, he said, "Hey, I'm looking for a statement in regards to this." You know what I mean? Or, "Hey, I'm making a video on this, and I'm looking for a comment and clarification on this." It's pretty clear, and any lawyer would tell you, but like, he kind of told you that you're being fucking recorded, or at the very least, this whole thing is about your response. So, all the lawyers were drooling over that shit. He laid out his little response video trying to flex, calling CoffeeZilla clout chaser and all this shit. You're scummy and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes on his podcast where he has his little minions lob softball, questions at him. And it's like, some people are saying that this is a scam. Like, what do you have to say about that? He's like, well, John, that's a really good question. I don't know the guy's name, but that's a really good question. Let me explain. And then it's, your typical shit. I think that episode stayed up, so you could probably still go check it out. However, his response video got taken down after he just got publicly dumped on by everybody on earth. Because what he did was basically he doxed that individual. He released expunged criminal records, which is illegal. You can't do that. There's a reason that they're expunged. The guy went through quite a bit to get that taken care of.
The other guy's like, why are you bringing up old shit?
Basically, wait, what the fuck? And literally old shit, 22, 21-year-old bullshit. And this fool looks all young.
You weren't even born yet, Paul.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Nah, he's probably 3 or 4. But
he's still sucking on titty.
He's still sucking on titty. It's like, bro, you can't do that. And really, when it comes to defamation, and I don't know if you guys followed the Johnny Depp case, enthralling. I watched every bit of it. I was watching Asmongold stream the entire time that whole thing was on. It was just
I was watching that.
The shitting in the bed got me.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
I mean, the whole thing was beautiful. I loved it. It was a great time. It's up there with the Area 51 raid in my experiences online. It's top tier. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I had the baby sit there watching him on my phone or on TV and shit. And it's you're just watching this Johnny Depp trial while the baby plays and shit. It was good times. But basically, I mean, what it very clearly laid out and what people should be aware if they're watching that is that defamation is an incredibly difficult charge to actually have go through, because it requires, proof of malice, which would mean, that the person intentionally said untruthful things in an attempt to negatively affect that individual and damage their reputation, which in Johnny Depp's case, they did find malice on all claims. And, he won big there because bitch crazy, but taking shits on beds and whatnot and fucking smearing jam on ketchup and shit on mirrors. It's crazy shit. That whole case, I think we talked about it a little bit. That whole thing was fucked, but I loved it. Long story short, he gets dumped on, comes back with a response video, and says that he called CoffeeZilla, apologized, said he wasn't going to be suing, and then tried to have this very adult video, a very mature video where he's like, like, we're going to be, I'm going to burn my NFTs to increase the value for all the other users. We're going to set up a refund program for that. I'm going to personally put forth, 1,000 Ethereum. It's about a $1.3 million. Like, okay, well, $8 million got stolen, but whatever. And then that he was also going to finish the game and make sure that people got like the game that they promised and all this shit. So I was going to pass on this story just because just a few days ago, that last bit came in where they kind of settled it, and it was just pathetic where this fool had to just eat crow. But I figure it's like one of those bigger ones where there's probably going to be a lawsuit, and hopefully, praying to God that it gets televised. That'd be so awesome. Not sure like how the courts like work on that. I know that in certain states, I think this one's taking place in Delaware. I'm not sure.
Delaware.
Yeah, I don't know, something like that. But if one party requests that be the case, then they televise it. That's how the Johnny Depp case got televised. I think it was Johnny's side was like, no, I want this shit blasted so everybody sees it.
Paul's just going to do a day in the life of waking up, going to court.
Just like literally just goes for like from his house to the courthouse, and then like 8 hours later walks out all depressed and shit.
Wasn't in one of the videos he was like basically just like crying the whole time?
There was a bit of crying going on. I think it was on the podcast.
CGI tears.
Pathetic shit. As pathetic as his boxing matches. I mean, Now all this is allegedly in regards to like the shady shit that he was doing and all this and all that. I guess if there is a court case, it'll all be flushed out. But the main idea behind, I guess the main theory as to why he like backed off super quick. He probably got hit with a cease and desist for one thing in regards to the guy's criminal record. And possibly a legal threat, which I would absolutely go through with that. Holy shit, why not? That's an easy win.
For sure.
Yeah, and then you got Discovery, right? Which Discovery, not fucking Warner Brothers Discovery, but like Discovery in regards to a court case means that everything goes out there, like your text messages, your emails, like phone recordings, all of the evidence and anything that could be used as evidence gets blasted. So I'm pretty sure he's like, holy shit, they're going to see all these text messages, and they're going to see text messages of other shady shit that I'm doing and this. Like there's probably something bigger that he's working on that's even more shady, allegedly. That, he needed to squash this real quick, or it's going to have the government like looking into his business and shit. So thinking that that's probably the case is that he got hit by a lawyer being like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you dead brain idiot. What are you fucking doing? Like, just apologize. Just say you're sorry. Make an apology video and get the fuck out. Like, don't talk about it ever again, and pray to God that you don't get sued into oblivion,
Yeah, I think he already got hit with like some other scandal. Like about like an actual zoo he had.
Well, there was so there was a case where he had a pig. Okay,
yeah.
Just like a number of other social media influencers, they like to buy animals for clicks.
Yeah,
puppies, kittens, piglets, birds, fish, that type of shit, turtles. He did all of that. Nobody knows where any of these animals go. He seems to have them for like a year or whatever, and then they're gone, and they get like sold to a different house. I forget what they call it, like housing or boarding or whatever. And then he just has this weird obsession with like picking up animals and then just assuming not taking care of them. There'd be videos where he's feeding the pig, but that's pretty much it. But what happened with this one was they had a gigantic pig. And he moved to Puerto Rico, I think it was, or something like that. Sus reasons, of course, sus reasons. I remember something about the locals, like they don't like them being there as well. But he moved off to a different, an island, essentially, and he had to like get rid of the animals that he had. Supposedly, he sold the pig or gave the pig to a farm. And then supposedly the farm gave the pig to somebody else who then abandoned it and like left it in a field like next to another pig that was dead. and it was all fucked up and like, you know, on the verge of death. And somebody called one of the local like shelters or whatever, animal shelters, came, picked it up, and like rehabilitated it and all that. And they blasted on social media because the identifying marks on the pig are so obvious. It, you know, led back to Logan Paul. So in the midst of all this bullshit, he had to
he had to deal with this. So it's just like one thing on top of another.
Yeah, he was probably so fucking bummed out that happened at the same time. I can't fault him too much for that because, I mean, you know, hey.
Well, yeah, if he like got rid of the pig and like actually gave it to like a farm or whatever, like he like that was the last contact. Yeah, as long as it went to like and then the farm did something else with the pig, like you can't blame him for that.
You can't. I mean, I
think he actually
I
like
do.
yeah, oh, absolutely. But like I think he came out and said that, you know, he's going to be helping whoever like has it now. Like he's going to pay for like any, you know, treatment
the shelter
or whatever,
and all
like
that
shelter.
Stuff.
Yeah. And,
chump change, bro. They probably could find that in the couch that they left in the fucking house that they moved out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
so just to kind of save face for something that what he has left.
And I didn't, you know, I didn't want to like jump on him because it's like, you know, like you got to remain neutral and like reasonable in the sense. Like, it sucks that happened to that pig, but I mean, if he legitimately like gave it to somebody, being like, okay, this is your pig now. I'm not responsible for fucking, you know, a car that I sold to somebody, like, you know, hitting another car. Like, what the fuck? Like,
years later.
Yeah. You know, so that's one of the other issues with it. So I was on the fence as to whether or not to talk about it. This or the Andrew Tate shit.
I just felt like we need to circle back to the fact that NFTs are still like
a thing.
Yeah, they died.
Well,
it was $1 billion project that all of a sudden shrank down to 400 million. And
I mean, as an artist, I appreciate the concept of NFTs thoroughly. I like the idea of artists being able to acquire money for future sales of their artwork, which in the past has historically been used to displace wealth for the wealthy. Incredibly rich people buy artwork with inflated values so that they can then later barter it off for that
Justin
value.
Bieber.
You know, it's a form of investment. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I like the idea of artists being able to get money for their work later down the line. However, it was immediately exploited and like pimped out, bro. Like just in the most pathetic way. Like just backyard fucking, you know, selling shit out of your trunk level like scummy.
Dude, it was anything and everything.
It literally like
check this stick figure I drew with a blue background.
I mean,
$1 million.
I was like, I was
that
thinking
shit was
about
like
it.
selling for millions.
Yeah. There's only one of one. It's $1 million.
And it's like,
I think like Justin Bieber bought one for like over $1 million something, and then when he went to go sell it, it was like worth like less than 100,000.
Oh yeah. There's a lot. Because
it just deflated.
Everything I have a buddy who has
just crashed.
Has one of those Bored Ape. He's like, yeah, that was a big blunder. It's like I'm still using the picture, but that was a bad idea. You know, it's like I like that idea. However, it's exploited because the easier something is to exploit, the more likely it is somebody's going to do it because humans are gross. And like they just.
I think the way that they're going to recoup this kind of environment is just push it into video games.
No, I mean they could also, you know. I mean, just like streaming, you know, or audio sales back in the day from the move from like, you know, from CDs to MP3s and stuff is find some way to alternately regulate and utilize that method rather than allow just the most shadiest of individuals dictate how everything's run. You know what I mean?
I feel like NFTs are just made by drug lords to wash their money.
I mean, it could very well be used for that type of shit. So.
It's so easy.
I mean, I don't want to dwell on it too much. Like I said, I didn't really want to talk about this because the whole thing wound up, got rounded up in the last week. But it's like, you know, it's big enough. So it is what it is.
So moving on from Paul, we go into tech. We have Apple's push for in-house development for their chips. So basically what they're saying is that we're going to move from the Taiwanese company and we're going to start making all of our stuff here made in America.
What was it? What was their chips?
So you have the two chips. So they're going to make the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chip, which is like a combo set for their phones, which is going to make a lot more space inside the phone so they can make a bigger battery and put a bigger processor, just a bunch of different shit. And then the processing chips for the actual desktops and stuff. Basically, what they're going to do is open up a plant in Arizona, and it's not going to be made by Apple, which is funny because they're saying that it's in-house. So Tim Cook said that the chips are set to be made in a factory in Arizona, and they're going to be the biggest customer for this site. Well, duh. I mean, if you're making it, then you're basically going to be using your own stuff, right? But so we're moving from Taiwan to America. This factory is going to be run by a Taiwanese semiconductor manufacturing company.
Yeah.
But it cuts the travel time. It cuts the chip shortage because now they just have to do everything here. Basically, just makes everything easier for Apple and gives Apple a reason to take advantage of this bill that Biden had signed and gives billions of dollars for chips being made in America. Mm-hmm. And now Cook makes millions of dollars on top of already expensive iPhones. And I know that because I just got the iPhone Pro Max and a new desktop. So I'm in that Apple, what do you call it, ecosystem.
AirPod Maxes. This guy owns
oh, yeah. The
Boo
AirPod
this
Maxes
man.
And the new iPad.
Boo. Boo.
I just need a new iWatch.
Oh, my God.
I'll call you guys.
Yeah, mine as well.
So they're going to be doing that, and also on top of the chips, they're going to be making their screens in-house now. So Apple's pretty much just going to be self-sufficient. Samsung is, I think, one of their actual main suppliers.
Suppliers.
Yeah. So they're like, fuck you, Samsung. Go do your shit with your bendable screens and all your magic. Yeah. And basically makes the iWatch screen so much better, is what they're saying, is that you're going to be able to see colors. I'm colorblind, so fuck it, I don't care.
You're like, colors be nothing to
me. Yeah, all I see is grays on my watch anyway, so. So you won't see this until like another 2 years. Like I said, they're going to be basically their own supplier, and, they're going to, I bet you their logo is going to be made in America, fuck yeah.
Just underneath
just etched on the back of every iWatch.
Hey, the American flag. See, I heard that it was a Samsung and like Toshiba, I think, makes the screens for the phones, which was like, wait, what? Like, how the fuck does that work? Because iPhone, like, the responsiveness of an iPhone.
Samsung was like, we do screens better for other people than
better
than we do for ourselves.
Like, we don't put
because we buy our screens from Apple.
Yeah, exactly. They trade and shit.
All right. Well, moving on from another tech, CES, or the Consumer Electronics Show, was held over the weekend in Las Vegas. Nothing better seeing a bunch of nerds getting drunk, gambling, and going into titty bars. Finally going back. Over the last couple years, obviously, with the pandemic going on, everything was digital. So 2001 was digital. And 2022, it was the first time they opened up, but the attendance was very low for CES. So it was only about 45,000 attendance. Over this last one, though, nerds came back in droves, and they went up to 115,000 attendees with 3,200ed they're So a lot of people
that AC
came
was
out.
working overtime.
Fuck. I mean,
Yeah.
it just couldn't keep
those
up.
filters, dude.
It just could not keep up. They probably think they're
Sweat,
falling out of the
sweat
fucking
and
ceiling.
Must have been Jesus Christ.
Disgusting. You palpable. Like you taste it right now.
You
I'm
can probably just
coughing out.
taste it, bro.
Fucking. I remember, dude, Comic-Con. Oh my god.
Yeah. So I mean, like all the big companies were out there showing off all their new gizmos and gadgets. There was speculation of whether or not AMD, obviously a really big, GPU, like CPU company.
The other powerhouse.
Yes, the other powerhouse in tech was going to comment on their new GPUs coming out and how they were overheating. Which was basically they're overheating when you put them in a vertical mounts, which is very popular right now to fit them since they're massive.
What do you mean they're massive, bro? Just because you have to remove half of your fucking computer frame to get them in there and shit? What do you mean?
Exactly. So the new popular way of mounting GPUs is vertically.
I've seen it. It's fucked and hideous.
Yeah.
It looks terrible.
Yeah. so basically reports of big, YouTubers that were doing benchmarks were coming out saying cards were overheating to 100 to 115 degrees Celsius.
Oh my god!
Like an
which
egg on
is
that bitch.
239 degrees Fahrenheit. So in
Yeah,
an
how do you like
interview,
your steak?
yeah, in an interview, AMD rep spoke out and basically said, "Yeah, we fucked up," but they are issuing like any replacements that you do see. So basically, it's the founder cards of AMD. They're these first initial cards that came out that were having the problem, so they're already aware of it. But it's definitely a big thing. So if you do get a batch of the original cards, they will replace it for you free of charge,
because they'll melt through your fucking desk.
Better, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing, so Cooler Master, which is developing an insane 3 ultra wide display racing sim. This sim is going to cost right around 20 grand. But it's a full on racing sim. I mean, I was watching some videos, and the FOV on the simulate, like you have to literally like turn your head like
it's a wraparound.
Oh yeah, it's full immersion of a racer.
I fully support racing rigs. I had the G series or whatever wheel at one point, super fun.
This thing is like a legit like mock of like you have to like kind of like I would never fit in one. Like
you're fucking 9.5 feet tall, Kenny. Of course you
yeah. So like, but like this, like you get into a racing chair, you get into you can put on a headset if you want, whatever you want to do.
Racing gloves and shit.
Yeah.
I want full F1.
Yeah. And yeah, so like, but you get like full on immersion. Like you have to look at another monitor to look at your side mirror.
Is it multiple monitors or is it a wraparound?
Yeah, it's
screen?
It's 3 monitors.
Yeah, see, I don't like that break. Break in the monitors.
It honestly, like looking at it, it didn't look too bad. The seam of the monitors, like it blended in pretty well. But you can tell that obviously there were 3 monitors there. The other thing Cooler Master is doing is a actual full immersion like pod. It's called the Orb X.
Yes.
Which is another measly $15,000.
It's basically those pods in fucking Wall-E where like the fat people are floating around.
Exactly.
And shit. Yeah.
It's like
God, we're hitting that
all
point.
encased. Yep. It's like all encased. Just like chair, you have to like it has its own like plugins and everything.
You got a catheter and a shitter built in.
Yeah. So, but they're also developing these like haptic chairs, which would like plug into your PC, and basically whenever you jump and stuff, like the chair would move.
It just punches you in the balls a little bit. Like,
oh god. Yeah.
You're playing Tony Hockey, so I can just slam your sack and it just punches you.
just throws you over.
90-degree turn at fucking like 0.5 seconds and shit. It's like you fucking whiplash.
Full immersion.
I can smell it.
Yeah. They also were like building some like art PCs. So like one was like built like a new or a old school like Jordan 1s, stuff like that.
Oh my god,
and
I
then
saw that.
Then they also built like a
shark.
The
shark.
I mean, hey, like I would never buy it, but like if you were into like art and whatnot, like
it looks
by
dope.
all means, yeah, it looks cool, but like obviously like I don't have the type of money.
No, the shoe looks sad as fuck. The shoe looks so sad, bro. Like it's just like pathetic. Like you put that shit on a desk and be like, all right, I'm just done with life. Or fuck this shit. Yeah. Like it's
Kenny
hideous.
With that pause, he actually thought about it. He's like, I fucking want that.
I mean, the shark is dope because like it's standing up on its tail, like it's jumping out of the water, and it's all like techie, like it's from fucking Ark and shit. And then like
the shoe is just sitting there.
This sad motherfucking shoe. It looks like a fucking Lego sneaker.
Hey, shoe heads are going for that though.
I'm sure
you know they are.
100%.
Yeah, and they're happy because it's the only one of the two that actually was being announced for like release, I think, or some shit. The Shark didn't have like a release date or price or anything, but
No. Moving on though, so Sony is developing a new electric car with Honda. It's called the Afeela, which will be a mid-sized sedan. Won't release until 2025 in Asia and 2026 in America. But it's kind of funny to see, Sony getting into the car industry, like full on like building an electric car.
Yeah,
hopefully they don't fuck it up like they do their movies.
They're gonna fuck it up because that's what they do. That's
I mean,
it's Sony.
Obviously that's why it's like releasing in
fuck things
Asia
up.
first, probably to knock out any kinks. Yeah. And then also BMW is decided they're going to say hold my beer and develop a car that can change colors instantly.
They did that.
So it's going to have a 32 color palette on the vehicle, which could change instantly. So that would be kind of funny seeing someone try to get pulled over.
Just running from the cops and like, I'm red now.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it would also be interesting for like, all right, well, your car's registered as, this color, and all of a sudden now you're changing it to like, what are the ramifications of?
Well, I mean, this is like a wrap, though. You could change your color to any color you want.
Yeah.
So, my thing is
but I mean, this thing is insurance going to cover this because it's going to be stupid fucking expensive. Insurance is like,
make
fuck
it,
you, dude.
They don't do that shit. I saw this.
It'll be that one car you see at the show that never comes out.
Well, exactly. It did. That's exactly what this is. Because back when Minority Report was released with Tom Cruise and shit, Lexus came out with a vehicle that you could change the color of the vehicle. It happens in the movie.
Yeah.
I think at one point, or was in the deleted scenes, and I saw it on the showroom floor. I wasn't able to get into it because it was on one of the spot, like the twisting platforms.
Because it was fake.
It was there, and they did change the color in front of me. I saw it with my eyeballs. So it's
like I wouldn't like see you, or you wouldn't see this car probably come out for a while if it ever did.
If it ever did, the only thing that I saw
that
in
Lexus
like a
was
concept
just a white car
was Mustang had those 3 stripes on the back of their lights, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think at that same show was the first time I saw that like one of these concept Mustangs had the flicker turn signals. The ones that are like, it goes bar, 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 bar.
Okay, yeah.
The sequentials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took like 15 years for that shit to come out. It took like 15 years for just those lights to come out. And it's like, this thing's never
And now
coming
they're
out.
everywhere. Now they're everywhere.
Yeah. So moving on, I think one of the funniest presentations, at least in my opinion, was the United States Postal Service was also at CES.
Oh God.
They were showing off their new electrical vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of sent a picture to you guys. This thing looks like a goddamn mini school bus.
Yeah. Well, if it's the one that I didn't look at, I saw it quickly, the one that you put in your thing. But I remember seeing one a long time ago where like the symbol on the front of the vehicle was the eagle, like the USPS eagle. I was like, oh my god, it's an actual it's like they got their whole vehicle.
Yeah, no, this is the exact one that was actually on the showroom floor. It's pretty interesting. Like I said, it definitely looks like a mini school bus driving around.
It looks like a dolphin.
It's just gonna get pushed over.
you know what? That's a good comparison too.
I mean, they use a lot of gas for sure. They do soak up a lot of gas.
I mean, driving every day, like,
and it's all within.
But they can
really
make it look
areas.
better, though. Like, dude, why can't we just make things look better? Just because it's electric doesn't mean you have to make it look stupid.
Let me see. What are you talking about?
Honestly, it looks like a dolphin, dude.
Oh,
it has a small little
design,
front end.
actually. That's a different design. It looks like a fucking
And like a
golf
big
cart.
forehead.
big forehead. Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, no, this is different. The one that I saw was almost like a little mini version of like the Amazon van, and the grill had a USPS logo, like a chrome logo.
Yeah, no,
this is different.
This was the one that they put on the showroom.
I mean, hey, as long as they get some fucking air conditioning and,
right?
and like a fan, like, hey, I'm not happy for them. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
I have a friend that works for the Postal Service and as a driver, and he fucking hates his truck.
It's like UPS, dude. Those guys.
Yeah, UPS doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
They get fucked, dude.
That's a hot box for sure.
There's not even like fabric inside the vehicles. It's just like metal and like
it makes it as light as possible.
They have to like bring their own fans and shit and like figure out how to get it going, and they have no air conditioning. They gotta drive with like the door open and shit. Yeah, they get fucked. Down in your area, they get fucked.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Like there's some areas like around here that are pushing well past triple digits, and these guys are
They're just floating around in an oven and shit.
That's why they stay so
Fucking air
thick, 'cause they're
fryer.
so thin.
Even with their doors open, it's still blowing 100-degree.
They
air on 'em.
anticipate getting out of the vehicle because it's actually better to not be in the thing. You know? Yeah. Hey, good for them.
Did you see like the other things at CES? There's the little device that records your pee. It scans it while you're taking a piss.
Yeah. And he tells if you have any issues or whatever.
Yep.
I just want to put that in my
That's
toilet
crazy.
just so I can
right?
like scare people.
Bro, it's
Your
red.
blood alcohol level.
And I think that actually comes from what was it, bench warmers? Remember the urinal that like it scanned everything?
Damn, what the fuck? How you gonna pull that out? That movie is like 86 years old, bro. What the fuck?
Hey,
People don't
Benchwarmers
forget,
still
dog.
holds up, though.
Jesus Christ.
No, that was actually the thing. I think that's when they go to that rich dude's that had the Batmobile, right? And he has like that urinal that scans everybody's pee and he's like, you need to drink more water or something like
I
that.
have not seen that in ages, and I think when I did, I saw like half of it.
And like looking at a picture of the scan, it literally tells you on your app, drink 8 glasses of water because your pee still doesn't have anything in it.
You have no water in your system at all. You're only
And then
made
like
up
your
of
next one is like,
65%
hey, by the
water.
way, you got prostate cancer.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that, toilet.
And then
body
the
is
next
going
one
to
is
lock
your
up.
wife's pregnant.
Happy holidays, and then it just like shuts off. Like
It
the one
fries
that I
itself.
saw was like the nose machine, like the thing where you put it over your face on top of your VR goggles so that you could smell the game and shit.
Smell-o-vision, bro.
Yeah, I mean that's been around. There's
God.
but this one
Just
looks,
imagine when you're watching porn.
it makes what
Oh, God.
this one like it looks so stupid, bro. Like it looks so stupid. It goes over like the mouth and like the front of the nose.
Oh, you
And
can
then
taste
got, like,
it too?
the I think it like has some type of I mean I'm assuming I think because it does go over the mouth and it looks stupid, so maybe it does like spray shit in your mouth, but like
Yeah.
I just a lot of the tech that
Country
was
ass shit,
there,
isn't it?
like I was gonna bring up the shark case, I was gonna bring up the shoe case,
Yeah.
the VR nose smell-o-vision shit, which has always been like a joke, but yeah, I mean fucking the thing with that is that so many companies have pulled out of CES to have like their own show.
Yeah,
That
it's
it's
kind of
like-
like the new.
It's like
fucking,
the
I don't even know what the
E3.
E3. Yeah.
Yeah, where fucking what are you even looking at when you go on the
Yeah,
showroom floor
exactly.
anymore? Because Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo are all not there.
Yeah,
Well, they
but I
all
mean,
took it
like,
from Apple.
Yeah, and honestly though, like it was cool to see so many people like at the convention, like
Yeah.
seeing their attendance go from, a third of what it was to, to almost 120.
As long as it doesn't
like
turn out to be some fucking hotbed of COVID, whatever the fuck
Yeah,
strand is going on.
exactly.
I don't know. I don't even know where we're at anymore with that. Like,
Yeah.
as
think I
long
got
as it
all of
doesn't
them
need turn into fucking ground zero for like another resurgence
Yeah.
of that shit, I'm fine. But, yeah, I can, like I said, I could taste that BO from here. It's probably disgusting. It seems like the main stories for this week. We got a little roundup here, but first, typically I go in the beginning of the show, I go through the free games and heavily discounted games, but we're going to move that to this point in the show, just before our roundup. This week on Epic Game Store, we got 3 games. First Class Trouble. It's free on Epic Game Store until January 19th. It's a third-person Among Us knockoff. Kind of looks cool. But, you have to be really into those types of games if you're into that shit. Game Deck, Definitive Edition, free on Epic Game Store also until the 19th. It's an isometric single-player Cyberpunk-esque detective RPG. It looked like whatever. Probably won't play it. I don't know. I'm going to have a couple beers tonight on stream, so maybe we'll end up playing something like that. The last one is Definitive Knockout, or DKO. Also free until the 19th on Epic, and that's a third-person 3D Smash Brothers knockoff. So I don't know if you guys can like imagine that.
interesting.
It's like you're fighting on a platform. It's over the shoulder type of like, I don't know, Gears of War or Smite or God of War or,
So
that
you're
that
like-
type of angle.
But like it's like face on 3D or over third person.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, just like any other third person like dueling game essentially. And you're on a
Yeah.
platform and your goal is to knock them off or, build up the hit damage so that your hits
Right.
throw them further. And it's just in a third.
Sounds like
it's-
motion sickness.
I mean, it did kind of give me that a little bit of like, whoa,
Yeah.
what the fuck? A lot of crazy shit going on, weapons being used and all that. But I mean, it looked pretty fun. If you're into that type of gameplay, you know, your 2D platformer fighter, this is a 3D version of it. So check it out. Free until the 19th, all those three. And we'll just get back in here to the roundup. Changes of the roundup. Just going to fire these off. Kind of reading these headlines off for these guys to get some reactions, but we're going to fire through here. My recommendation is head on over to our Twitter and follow us there, because we do pull these roundup article headlines from our retweets throughout the week. First on here, though, Jeremy Renner gets run over by a snowplow, suffering trauma to his chest and face, but pulls through and is on the road to recovery after a brief video of him all fucked up in the hospital. You guys see that?
I saw the article, but I was like, how does that even happen?
I don't know. I don't know like who I showed the image to of the plow itself, but it's a beast. It's a beast.
Yeah.
It's
like how did he not get sucked in?
Yeah, like tank tracks and shit on it. It's like what the fuck? So yeah, but he's doing all right. He's alive. You know, he's communicating. He's just fucked up. So, you know, hoping our boy pulls through even faster than he already is. But yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Turns out WB was soured on Dwayne Johnson's involvement in DC. Once he began to make apparent his goals was to take the reins and build the future of the films around the Black Adam character instead of, you know, any of the other characters that it should have been. And then pushed for his own cheap-ass tequila to be sold at the premiere of his PG-13 film. What's it called?
Terramana.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like my tequila, but...
Not Terramana. Terramana.
I'll stick with my Hornitos.
That's probably why DC was like, no, we're just done with you. You keep bringing this shitty tequila to these
yeah, like this is mid, bro. Quit bringing this shit here. Fucking sucks. Ken Block, famed rally car and Gymkhana racer, dies in snowmobile accident during the holidays.
There's our weekly rip segment.
This
we
shit,
got a few of those.
Like hit me. Like I loved watching like videos especially when he was on like Fantasy Factory and like Robin Big. Like all those episodes were awesome.
He was just like such your like normal dude. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
he's just like your Cali bro type guy. I don't know where he's from, but he just like gave off that vibe. I thought he was like involved with the founding of DC, like shoes.
That's what I thought too.
He was, yeah. He was like
he started off with DC shoes.
So I mean that's a big loss, you know?
Yeah.
That's not just some racer. That's DC
Do people
shoes.
still wear DC shoes?
You can run across them, yeah. They're DC's around. Same
I
thing
mean,
with,
that was like our
Etnies.
time with the fat tongues.
Yeah. They still look like that too.
Stuff
God willing. Yeah, I mean that sucks. I love all his Gymkhana videos.
Well, I think his last one was Vegas, right? Where he ripped at 360 in the middle of the
I think it was
of the
Vegas,
casino,
or was it? No, I'm thinking because there was Europe, there was like Japan, there was San Francisco. San Francisco was dope. There's quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, so you're not just losing a racer. You know, it's somebody who, you know, that was a big trend back in the day was DC shoes, and I wore a lot of DC, and you know, it was always nice seeing them repped on the side of the car. But unfortunately, Ken Block, I think he has a daughter who like races and shit like that too, which kind of sucks. But
yeah, now we're stuck with Travis Pastrana.
Yeah, I mean that man is invincible apparently. Holy shit,
dude, Jesus.
Payday 3 gets Steam page as it becomes more apparent that the sequel is quickly approaching. Did you guys ever play Payday?
I think you tried to get me to play like a while ago, and I just it never hit with me. It's a
4-player, meticulous, you know, there's a certain way of handling the situation to get out with the least amount of friction, but your goal is to bank rob, you know what I mean? Or rob parties or what have you, you know, you do your thing.
Yeah.
You know, you wear your mask. Super fun. It's like I would rather play that than like Left 4 Dead, you know what I mean? So, the way that game kind of puttered out of existence was kind of disappointing. It was one of those things where they just didn't have the funds to keep going. And then they hinted that they were going to bring them back, or bring the game series back. And now we got an actual Steam page for it. So if you're into the Payday games, Payday 3 is coming. So get ready. Next one on here. Andrew Tate, renowned sexist and dipshit, arrested after online scuffle with environmentalist Greta Thunberg that led to the Romanian law enforcement supposedly tracking him down because he showed a pizzeria box from a local pizzeria. I think they deflated that rumor, but you know, it was pretty apparent because he pulled out this box. But it was basically a flex video, you know, where it's like, hey Greta, I got 11 Ferraris and they're, you know, this one's a 10 valve and this one's, you know, it's like this one's V8 and blah blah, and it's like, all right, dude, whatever, bro. But yeah, within like a day, he was in custody by Romanian police forces.
You know what blew up out of that though?
What?
The pizza place.
I'm sure they got some fucking views. Yeah.
I think the other thing was that like that Greta girl, she like now has the highest like
tweet.
Yeah,
she has the highest view tweet.
Any female or whatever like that.
I mean, it was so there was no like gloating or anything like that. I think the response was like, and this is why you should throw away your pizza boxes. I think that was her response.
That was one of them, but the other one was just
compost your pizza boxes.
Some about like small dick energy.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely small dick energy. That's what gives off, you know. Yeah, we talked about. I mentioned that I was gonna swap the stories, the whole Logan Paul story, for this one because once I saw Aiden Ross fucking sniff his chair once he left the room, was like fucking like, bro, like there's some shit going on here. What the fuck is this? But no, I figured it'd be best just to say fuck this guy and move on. But sex trafficking and rape charges.
Good for him.
You know, and you got a lot of his fanboys being like, guilt, you know, innocent until proven guilty. It's like, bro,
not in Romania.
It's like, like we're talking about, you know, rape.
Where Dracula runs the court, bro.
Like, sex trafficking charges, my guy. Like, and then he has, you know, on recording being like, yeah, I'll do this. I don't give a fuck. Like, fuck the cops. You know, like if anything happens, I'll just flee to Romania. And he did, and then he got arrested because he's an idiot. But yeah, that's how that one is. If you haven't heard about Andrew Tate, you're better off just staying that way. So, former Pope Benedict dies at the age of 95 or 160. It looks like.
We gotta like group these together. These rip segments.
Yeah, just like kind of have like a little obituary segment.
A little rip segment. I think this is the Pope that we saw get picked.
We saw both. This is the one that we saw in high school. I mean, we obviously saw the But this is the one that we saw in high school where they went through conclave. Lucas and I went to a Christian / Catholic based religious high school. Kenny, was your school a religious school?
No, I went to public school.
Yeah, so like you know it was part of our class. You know, we're in like fucking dick. Like our religion class, which is now known as like theology there, but our religion class, when that was going on, that was just on TV while we
had no class. It was like, hey, wait for the smoke.
Yeah, basically, yeah, wait for the smoke.
It.
And that was how
and
it
then
was.
Go to break.
Tight, dope.
Yeah, right. I learned nothing today.
Pope's dying when you're in high school and you're going to a Catholic school. Highly recommend. This dude, I mean, you know.
He's a pope.
He's a pope, but this motherfucker was creepy, bro. Like
they all are, right?
I was about to say, like, what pope isn't creepy?
Pope Benedict gave off super creep vibes. Like the new pope is cool. Like he looks fine. Well, whatever. He doesn't look creepy. I think everybody just has the, you know, yeah. Red Letter Media raises over $80,000 for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital and Wisconsin Humane Society after selling obscure B film Nuki.
Why?
The group has been collecting copies of the films for years. People send them to them and stuff. Accumulating over 100 copies of the VHS, which they put through a wood chipper after having the best copy graded and sealed and then thrown up on eBay.
So stupid.
Well, I mean, people just, they watched it fine. They'd never watched the movie. They just thought it was funny. They knew it was shit and it had never gone to DVD. So they had like 5 copies. They made a joke about it. And then people just started sending them their copies. So like I said, they picked the best copy and then they literally spent a chunk of their video throwing all the other copies into a wood chipper, which was oddly satisfying. And then they put it up on eBay and they sold for, I think, $80,500.
I get it's for charity, but come on.
I mean, it's somebody with, dude, that's like nothing money.
I hope that was a group. No, I just really hope that was a group that was like, hey, you know what? It's for children's research. Let's just get
bro,
this.
If I had $5 million like right now, like I would burn money on that. It's tax write off, bro. It's a fucking it's a donation.
I'll buy NFTs.
Yeah, that's right. You want to earn money. I get it.
They're coming back. They're coming back.
Yeah. But yeah, good on them. I thought that was nice. You know, and they like I said, they actually watched and reviewed the movie too, and it was horrible. So it was a good episode.
I'm surprised it wasn't in Justin Roiland's game.
Oh, High on Life.
Oh,
Yeah.
High on Life, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to get to that.
that.
We'll get to that
Later on, that's just on him. But I'm talking about like I'm surprised this movie wasn't published.
They really should have. That should have been the movie that they watched. Would have been that.
The two movies were stupid.
Yeah, super stupid. But they're probably that's why they're cheap enough to be in that game. You know what I mean? Next one here, TV legend Barbara Walters passes away at the age of 93. She got her due appreciations on TV. You know, all the people, you know, just remembering her and all that shit. So, you know, a legend. She was a legend for sure. Audio-Technica's incredibly successful M50X studio headset announced in mic'd gamer version. We were talking about this earlier when I was suggesting microphones to Kenny because Kenny's using a headset mic right now.
As you can tell.
But you know, this is a headset that I can vouch for. It's typical. I mean, it didn't have a mic built in, so no gamers would really purchase it unless they had, you know, your own mixer and mic, you know, set up on your desk and all that. But if you want really, really deep basses and nice, crisp, sharp sound for like, you know, $150-$200, that's the one you would get. The Audio-Technica M50Xs. You can go to Sennheiser, you can go to Shure, you can spend all this money on, you know, an expensive one. Yeah, you can get some fucking Mac, AirPod Maxes if you're a fucking scrub and you like shiny logos and shit.
Yeah, they're great. They're heavy.
They're Beats by Dre, bro, with a aluminum frame.
No, they're not.
they literally bought that technology.
Take that back.
That's literally what it is. But you know, it's a headset that I could vouch for personally. I can't you know, say anything in regards to the microphone that's built in, but it's got the fuzzball on it and looks like it would take into consideration some decent voice. I have an Audio-Technica AT2020 and the sound is nice and crisp. It's what every person, if they're not looking to spend tons of money but want like studio quality, you get Audio-Technica, and this would be my recommendation for sure once this thing pops out. Avatar makes like $2 billion. Cameron reminds everybody why he's a dick.
Still relevant.
He's still around. This is my thing. Like tickets were like $22 or something like that. $21 for me. This was the movie where it's like you got to see it in 3D. I'm like, oh, it sounds like a fucking Avatar movie where you have to see the most expensive version of the film to make it worth it. You know. You know, it is what it is. He's going to make more of these. He would have made more of them if it only made $1 billion. But, you know, my whole thing is just his attitude. We've been talking about this shit. And it's just like, bro, please chill the fuck out. All right.
He's the god of directors.
Just please, Jimmy.
Bow
please,
to me.
Please, for the love of God. Rumors circulate about Ubisoft's upcoming Star Wars installment as it claims to be comparable to No Man's Sky in gameplay.
I think this might save Ubisoft.
Maybe. What was the other stuff with the Ubisoft going on right now? Right?
They're canceling games.
Yeah, they shut down
like 3 games.
3 games. They had abysmal numbers that they reported on. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where it's like, as soon as I heard they were shutting down 3 of the games, I was like, oh my god, not the Star Wars game. And it's like they're gonna leave the Star Wars game. If anything, they cancel all of their other games to focus on the Star Wars game.
Well, it's open world too, I think.
Open universe. Yeah. I mean, if it's an open universe, do what you will in the Star Wars universe, bro.
Maybe they just did all hands on deck. Fuck all the other games.
I mean, they're gonna have to. But Ubisoft is so fucking disgusting, bro. Like,
I read that they're supposed to be doing Ubisoft Plus on Xbox too. So I think it's another fucking program, another pay as you go.
Go to Xbox fucking Game Pass and just suck it up.
I bet you what they're gonna do is that they're gonna rip all the games from Ubisoft off of the Game Pass, put it into that package like EA does, and then add on to that.
Yeah, because that worked out so well for them. I mean, they already do that. That's what Uplay is.
Yeah.
Like, I already have Uplay, and I hate it. Fucking hate it. But the thing with them too is that they're also very like, they want to get into NFTs. So scummy. They got outed with their whole like trademark shit where they wanted to basically, I think it was Ubisoft, where they wanted to create a system where it would intentionally pair you with opponents that had better gear than you so that it would encourage you to purchase more. Like, they were trying to base, you know, queue systems around money.
Yeah, I forget. There was also like when the like the Division was kind of like popping off for a little bit.
Yeah.
It was that way. Like it would pair you. I forget how like their competitive.
They
Like,
put you in
game
lobbies
mode.
and shit
Yeah.
with people that have
Yeah,
better
it made
shit
you
than
want to purchase like more to rank up.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting
Yeah.
shit. Absolutely
Yeah.
fucking deplorable, disgusting, scummy shit.
I think they put a stop to the Division too. I think.
I mean, I have
I think they canceled.
No,
that.
actually, I think they're making like a mobile, like another one. They're already making another one.
I mean, I recommend Division as a game. It's
It was
a fun
fun.
game.
I enjoyed it.
I put a good amount of hours into Division.
Yeah.
I have Division 2. I just didn't
Yeah,
play it very
Division
much.
2 was all right. Like they added
I
like,
liked the
skill
snow.
tree, like like class skill trees.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
like you had to choose one. I think you have to like you have to respec every time if you want to like go into something else, but you can't just like
Make
on
it a
the
little
fly
bit
like,
more, intuitive and a
or
little
you
more.
can't like spec into like multiple trees. Like you have to go specifically down one. So like you're kind of locked into specific gameplay.
I just like the whole, finding guns and upgrading
Yeah,
shit constantly.
exactly,
And that's what that
yeah.
game does. You come across a gun that's better and slightly better, and it makes you go look for more guns that are slightly
Yep.
better. You know what I mean? I like that gameplay. My thing is, I like the environment of the first game more. I like the snow and just that vibe
Yeah.
that you got. The
Oh,
new one
yeah.
is very much just kind of like,
Well, it's the
it's a
aftermath
typical,
of yeah.
and the I remember playing as like they had it in one of their tech demos before the game even came out, but it's like I think Air Force One is down, and you have to go on the ship and like get something,
Yeah.
and then there's a bunch of like enemies outside. That whole fight just didn't feel like Division 1. It felt just because of the environment. It just didn't give off that same dope vibe. So I didn't get into it. I do have that game. I mean, I'm down if any of you guys want to play it at any point. I've always thought about getting back into it, but the DZ, the DZ. I just can't. I don't like that shit. I hate extraction game modes. So
Yeah.
you need people if you're gonna go do it.
I think one of their best game modes was called Survival, which is basically like you're in the DZ, but you have you're quickly like upgrading things. So it's basically like
You kind of go from trash barrel to trash barrel, like warming up.
right,
Yeah.
and then you would have to like obviously like the circle, the storm is closing in on you, and you have to like get to an extraction point.
You find little upgrade rooms to take
Yep.
materials that you get to build guns and stuff. Yeah,
And
I liked it too.
And like your clothing to like stay out like longer, and you don't have to go to
What was the other one? Underground.
Underground. That was fun
Underground.
because that was like a simulated you have to do like certain things, and
They're dungeons essentially.
yeah, it's basically like repetitive dungeons.
And they're like unlimited variations, and then it's like
Yeah.
it feels identical. It's the
Yeah,
same.
I think I just
they're
did this
pretty.
one.
Yeah, they're pretty identical.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's like, oh, I made a right last time. I'm making a left now, but I entered the same room that I did
yeah,
before.
I'm
It's
sure
okay.
they have like 20 to 30 like
Yeah.
loaded
Different variations.
variations and or just like pieces that this is how it's randomly generated, and it's like I made a left instead of a right, but it's the same piece.
Yeah, basically the bosses at the end are still the same, and you just get
Yeah.
the same shit. Yeah, I mean, if anybody, if you're down, I'm down. It's one of those games where it's like, meh, you got to have people and enjoy
Yeah,
it playing with others.
I would play a lot of it like solo, and it just got boring.
and frustrating at times. So. Next one on here, Wizards of the Coast shows their ass as they announce changes to the policy that will now charge royalty fees for content creators and third-party businesses that earn over $750,000 a year. There was an addendum to this that I didn't put in here, but they came in and being like, oh, no, don't worry. If you're a content creator or if you're this or this or this, you won't be affected. But,
they can fucking kick rocks.
it kind of seemed like they it's like, who are you charging then? You know what I mean? Like whoever you want. For anybody who doesn't know, Wizards of the Coast makes Dungeons and Dragons. They also make Magic the Gathering. It's a Seattle-based company, if I'm not mistaken.
I think.
I mean, they're getting. The thing with D&D in particular is that I don't know if you guys watch Critical Role. I like watching it from time to time if you can get past the cringe. I just like the
can't.
vibes that you get when people sit down and just have like a good time, like just doing something like that. You know
I mean,
what
especially with like them, like they're all like voice actors and actual like mocap actors. So like they have some and a lot of skill.
Yeah, one of the chicks on there is the voice actor for Ellie from
Ashley Johnson.
Yeah, Ashley Johnson from
then,
was it The Last of Us? No, what is it?
And then Laura Bailey is another one from Last of Us 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are a lot of characters in there that
they get into it, they like it, they're having fun, it's an enjoyable watch. You can put it on the background. I like the guy, I forgot the main guy's name, but
Matt Mercer.
Yeah, I like his vibe, he's very confident in what he does. He handles it very professionally, like he takes it very seriously, and he is considered like the best, GM.
Unfortunately, he's like not allowed to speak about anything because he's like
they're in ties with they're in ties.
So
they did release a statement actually earlier today. I didn't bring it up, but basically they're like, we side with the fans. They didn't say anything negative about what's going on.
Yeah,
they said nothing.
Of course,
positive.
they were definitely just 100%
play neutral.
Neutral. Just I think he put out some like tweets or something like that, or there's something like you can tell he's siding with like the fans on this, and like he's pissed off too.
Yeah,
like he updated his Twitter profile or something like that, or sent out or started like retweeting some stuff that you can tell like he's saying stuff without saying stuff.
You get articles popping up and like, the silence is deafening, and it's like, shut up, bro. Like the silence is the best move that you can do. Like that's the problem with all these outlets, is they don't understand.
But it's kind of funny though, so the other game comparable to Dungeons and Dragons, which is Pathfinder, is like jumping all over this right now. They're like, we're having sales right now, and like
everyone in the water.
Yep.
Because whatever.
They're about to, they were dying as well.
It's just it's a niche concept. You got to be willing. It's like, I'm sure Lucas would never sit down at a D&D table and shit, I'm like in the middle where it's like the cringe would make it difficult. I don't even like playing like, was it Jackbox or whatever? Like I don't even like playing like that type of shit, but I would, if like the kid's older and like, he wants to do that type of shit, like I'd get into it. I wouldn't care. But at the same time, I understand that, they're not pulling in crazy money. You know what I mean? Like it's not like Wizards of the Coast.
D&D was at what, like that they were pulling some big money because like,
but especially from what?
From all their books and sales, because like everything is getting funneled into like their new it's called like D&D Beyond, which is like their website of like you can build characters there, you can like purchase all their action or adventure like platforms and whatnot.
Well, see, what they're basically implying is that they're going to be going after people that don't go through that system and make money off of their property.
Oh yeah, so all the
Kickstarter projects. And
I think though the law, I think there's a law. It's like the OGL or something like that. They're open game license. Yeah. Like that's what's like tweaked right now, or they're They're trying to revise.
So we'll see how that one goes, though, when it comes to Wizards of the Coast, because I mean, like I said, that one's developing as the days go on. So we'll see. We'll see if it affects Critical Role and if they even produce more content for them, or if they go out and start doing their own thing. Who knows? New trailer for Ant-Man drops, showing epic shots of Jonathan Majors, Kang the Conqueror, and a horrifying glimpse at the design of MODOK.
We're just gonna put a picture on a guy.
They basically almost confirmed though, like that picture of that guy is Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense in terms.
Basically,
of
they're saying that he took him and kicked him into that that universe in between. I forgot what they call it.
The quantum realm, like where they got, like where he went to at the end of Ant-Man, where did he go? And like, he got sucked
and then
down
he basically
there,
like Kang brought him to do a bunch of shit, and now he's like probably gonna kill Kang or something. King or something.
And like MODOK is an older character, Stan Lee created that character in like the 70s or some shit.
Yeah, it was like 68, 69. Like it was old.
Yeah,
he was real like early comics.
Supposedly like a conduit for some of Stan Lee's personal insecurities and all this shit, yada yada. But really the design of the character was to kind of separate Marvel from the current trends at the time, which was your spandex laden heroes and villains and that type of thing. So they wanted somebody dramatically different and goofy. My thing is that I always considered his face to be like human-esque, but not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like where they could have gone away with like orc style design approach, where his face is human, but it's so dramatic.
This shit just makes it just look like a digital screen.
It looks like fucking George Lopez in Shark Boy and Llama Girl, bro. Like what the fuck? Like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Yeah. It just looks like his headshot just pasted onto the...
It does. Like somebody photoshopped that shit in there.
Just keep his mask on.
Like, what did I say?
He looks decent with his mask on, so just leave his mask on.
He looked like fucking Bill from accounting and shit. They just threw his face on there because they needed a filler and like they forgot to remove it and shit. I don't know. I thought it was gonna be like detailed wrinkles that are extra deep and like he has a big mouth, so you have really like gross lips that
we don't have
are really
tech to do that.
articulated. Not anymore. If you watch fucking She-Hulk and shit, apparently not.
Yeah.
But no, they're not going to have that. He's going to have regular eyes, regular face. He's supposed to have like white glowing eyes and like kind of like a Doc Ock type haircut and his little arms sticking out. It's like I saw the design before when he's all techie and like his armor suit and all that, which is like stupid, but
I mean it's better than George Lopez's face.
I mean, it's pretty damn close though.
Anything is better than George Lopez's face.
Well, I mean, it's this character is supposed to be pretty brutal. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like just it is a little bit of a wonky character, but at the same time, like he's supposed to be effective. So we'll see what he does. I mean, he's going to be a lackey. It looks like by this point, especially in
the way he's out in the background.
Yeah, so they'll toss him aside, but. Whatever. Simon Pegg announced for the voice of Phineas Nigellus Black in Hogwarts Legacy. Dope.
Nice.
Simon I know you're still excited about that, huh?
Hell yeah. I didn't put that in there, but just yesterday, I think it is. We're recording this on Saturday the 14th. Yesterday, Warner Brothers changed the release date on Steam from the release date, I think, of the 10th to now coming soon.
Not even a date.
It back.
I mean, I can't even understand why they would do that, but whatever. They've had the ticker, X amount of days until the Hogwarts Legacy, and I wrote out on Twitter where it's just like this should be illegal by this point. You know what I mean? Like, can't take money and be like, we'll release it next year instead. I'm like, fuck you. Like, what the fuck? I had an expectation for the product that I paid for with my money. And if that expectation is not met, then, there should be some type of...
Well, at some point when they're like developing this, they should be like, hey, we're not really ready for this. This is not put a specific date. Let's just put coming soon.
Yeah.
Well,
this way it doesn't leave you like, oh shit, this shit's almost out. Like tomorrow it comes out.
Yeah, I think a good example of that is like Baldur's Gate 3. Like, you knew that it was going to be an alpha game, and they full on told you, hey, this is just the alpha. Like, you're only going to go up to level whatever, like as a character, and then like over time we're going to be adding updates that you can like add classes and levels and whatnot, and then hey, now we're going to be releasing it. So
you got to have some heft in the base game though for that to actually be satisfying. You know what I mean? Like I would hate it if Hogwarts Legacy was like that and I could only go into like 2 classrooms. And I gotta wait for the other 10 classrooms to open one at a time. Like. Nah, like I'm just in the headspace where it's just like by this point, like just stop giving dates until you're 100% sure, and fear if you're wrong. You know what I mean? Like there should be some type of fear in terms of like false advertising or what have you when there's pre-orders involved. Like I don't care if it's just a date and it gets swapped around and people are pissed off, but once you start taking money from people, then you should have a little bit stronger of an obligation to live up to those dates. And I get crunch, yada, yada. And Garrett and I had this conversation back in the day, but, I think we all worked in industries where, clock watching isn't beneficial to the productivity of the job. You know what I mean? And if you got to stay another hour or two and it is what it is, then so fucking be it. You know what I mean? Especially people that work on salary understand that, it's just, you got a fucking job to do.
The longer I'm there though, I'm making less money. So
because it depletes the value of your hours and your time being spent.
Yep.
But crunch is it's like when I was working, and I mentioned that in the construction industry where it's like, can't tell the kids that they can't come back to school. Like, you got to get the fucking school done before school starts. You know, like there is no, well, we're being overworked right now. It's like, I don't give a fuck if you have to work until 4:00 in the morning. Like, you're staying here and you're getting it done, or we're going to bring in somebody that can. Like, that's called the real world. That's just how shit gets done. And all these little soft asses who get in there and start whining about crunch and all that shit. It's like, at one point we admired South Park for how they pushed it through and really only had like a month and a half of work throughout the year, but it's because they were sleeping under their desks and pulling fucking 16-hour days and shit.
I mean, producing a weekly episode.
Yeah.
Like on the spot.
Where it's like, now that's evil, you know?
Yeah.
I get it. It's not great, but you know, you chose it. You should be an honor, unfortunately, you know, like this is, you go into it knowing that's how it is. You don't get in there, find out you don't like it, and then start bitching. That's not how it is. I'm sorry to say the gaming industry has been like that forever. And if you join the gaming industry and you don't like the fact that you have to meet deadlines, then get the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, this is how it is. Like, you're not fit for it, kid. But you know, when it comes to Hogwarts Legacy, it's just more so the fact that I want that game and I need that game, and it's pissing me off that I now have it and I don't have it at the same time. So,
right.
Be prepared for that. There might be a delay on PC. We'll see what's up. Xbox and Bethesda Developer Direct announced for January 25th, and Starfield will be receiving its own showcase. You guys gonna get Starfield?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Why not?
I'm not into that.
It's like No Man's Sky, but better quality.
Yeah, No Man's Sky never.
But at the same time,
hit that spot for me.
Well, the fuck, we just talked about a Star Wars game that's like No Man's Sky. You're not going to get that.
Oh, hell yeah, I'm going to get Star Wars. It's fucking Star Wars.
The same shit. You take your ship, you fly somewhere, you get some shit, and you go to some other place to get some more shit.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, the lore.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, that's just.
It's just like playing goddamn like Star Wars like MMO.
Yeah, I don't like MMOs, but I would play Star Wars. I did play.
Yeah, but people were freaking out when they saw the Developer Direct announcement, and they were like, "What about Starfield?" And then Xbox was like,
and then they got their own.
Oh, they're getting their own thing. Yeah,
which is good. I mean, because they did confirm that is coming out for like Q1 of this year, so it should be like right around the corner. If I get in some extra money, then I might buy it. But it is kind of in my wheelhouse because I love leave it to your own devices type games, like right. I like being given a big playground to go do whatever I want rather than being it's like why I have a hard time getting through Fallen Order, because it's like it's so on rails that it's like
yeah,
I like the freedom to kind of go do whatever I want and progress how I want. So we'll see. But if you're anticipating Starfield, check it out. January 25th, Direct Developer or Developer Direct, and they're going to have their own showcase, so you get some information and some footage. Lisa Marie Presley, only child of Elvis, dies at the age of 54 after suffering a heart attack.
Damn.
Out of order once again for obituaries or obituary segment.
There you go.
There we go. But I mean, no word as to what caused the heart attack, or if it was natural causes, what have you. But
did her dad die of a heart attack on the toilet?
Yeah, on like a toilet, taking a dump and shit. Yeah, I think eating some chicken.
Probably
and shit.
You think she died the same way?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. No, she was at the Elvis premiere, whatever the fuck that movie is. That movie came out, and she was at like the red carpet, and she looked fine. She looked a little tired, but I mean, she looked fine. So. This might have been like an abrupt type of thing, just liking the fatty foods and living in the fast lane and shit. Who knows? I'm sure developments will pop up. But I've noticed over the last few years, there's just that pattern of you don't really find out like why people are dying these days. You know what I mean? Hopefully it was natural causes and not caused by any like drugs or any abuse or anything like that. So
I mean, he lived in Palmdale.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Palmdale.
NASA discovers Earth-sized habitable planet orbiting a star just 100 light years away. I don't think this is the one that was 99% the mass of Earth. I think this is a different one, but 100 light years is getting pretty close.
What does that mean, just 100 light years away? Is that like just down the street?
I mean, in terms of traveling at the speed of light, it's 100 years. I mean,
like, dude, they're gonna have to put you to sleep, like fucking Interstellar and shit.
Andromeda is like 10 times that distance or some shit like that. Like, I mean,
I'm saying, like,
it's on the block.
In terms of light travel, we're in the 3 digits, which is we're getting there. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we find a way. We find a way to travel that space, and
we're never getting there.
Manipulate.
We're never getting there.
Motherfucker, we have like AI that can like make paintings and have conversations and apparently have relationships with people and shit. I'm sure we'll have something in the next like 100 years where we can
We're not even going to be around for 100 years. We're done.
Mean, we'll see.
Look at the way we're going. Everybody's dying.
I got another Ubisoft in here, but that's that share price that plummeted 10%.
Did you hear what the CEO said?
Oh, how it's on you guys?
He's like, hey, this is all on you guys now, right?
It's not us. It's
Make it happen or we're done.
Yeah, fucking dick. Ubisoft sucks. WB Discovery looking to sell its music library, which includes thousands of film soundtracks. Yikes.
WB's fucking up everything.
No, they're just
hurting my HBO Max.
Yeah.
They're fucking hurting.
But like, isn't there
Jesus
like
Christ.
music collection like worth like couple billion?
Oh, probably, but I mean, you got royalties and shit from movies.
Doesn't have the Beatles on it.
You know, you got other things that they record, and I don't even know. I'm sure I've had CDs that have WB on it, but I don't know, whatever. But all I know is that they're selling everything. They're selling their fucking extra shoelaces by this point. They're fucking desperate.
They sold the towels and the hand soaps.
Yeah, they're selling everything that's not bolted down. You know, so.
Fire sale.
Yeah.
We'll see. Hopefully James Gunn can help him pull through that. But WB is looking pretty bad. And this is new management. You know what I mean? So, yikes.
Well, the shitty thing is that they're pushing everything to Discovery Plus. It's like now I got to get another subscription based.
Yeah, I already have.
Come on, and then you're raising my price of HBO Max by $1,
which is already the most expensive of the streaming platforms, and they're increasing the prices, which is insane. But you know, whatever. Recently released court documents show that Justin Roiland, co-creator of Rick and Morty and High on Life with Squanch Games founder, was charged with domestic violence and false imprisonment by ex-girlfriend back in 2020. And he has pled not guilty to those charges. So this happened
Free
a couple
my
years
man.
ago. This is one of those things where it's like, bruh. Like, why don't you people just be fucking normal, dude?
I know, right?
Didn't talk about what's his name from All Gas No Brakes, him being a sex pest now, and fucking all this shit. You know, it's like, bro, why is everybody that gets into these positions like the worst type of people?
Why does it take like 3 years for all this information to come out though?
Yeah.
Like, what does she want?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's, you know, that's one of those
Johnny
things
Depp
where you walk into the fire when it comes to like online voicing your shit.
Next, you're gonna know that she took a shit and a piss in the bed.
I mean, I'm a little more on the like Justin Roiland to be like, yeah, that was a fucking mad alcoholic, like crazy ass. Like I could see him like doing some stupid shit, and fuck that guy if that's the case, you know. But this one, it's like, I don't know. I need more info, and I need these people to not be supposedly asking for tons of fucking money, like upfront type shit. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Last one on here. Silicon Valley intern created AI waifu utilizing Chat GPT and Stable Diffusion to create an anime character he could communicate and interact with. After only a month, is forced to euthanize his digital waifu because his real world girlfriend wasn't having any of it.
Oh, dear God.
Claims the AI had gotten shorter and less intricate with his responses after prolonged periods of time with him.
It was going dry. The relationship was going dry.
Basically, this computer was like, "Man, you're fucking boring, bro." Like, she's just like got short. Like, there was no more conversation. Like, he'd ask her a question, and she'd be like, "Yeah, whatever." So, like, his real world girlfriend forced him to basically like destroy the AI. But
I wonder how that went about.
Awkwardly, for sure, 100% awkwardly.
You're cheating on me with.
Did he like take her out like, you know, like mafia style? Did he?
Was it like this weird thing where she like walked in on him while he's doing some like debauchery shit? Probably fucking just disgusting. Probably some fucking disgusting shit. Literally
with the
like,
VR on
and shit. And the smell-o-vision on his face.
I mean, Silicon Valley. He's got the first of the first.
Yeah,
he's got everything. He's got
I saw it too.
In the racing sim.
Basically, what he did is that
he
got a small screen and he had like an art of like, you know, like where you ask it to create a picture and the AI creates a picture.
Wasn't there a movie like that though, where like the dude like was having a relationship with like Siri
called,
type of thing?
Yeah, it was
right?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah. Well, there's also a bit of that in like Blade Runner and shit too, if I'm not mistaken.
So, I mean,
no, it's not a new concept.
New,
you know, I mean, weeboos are gonna fuck their waifus one way or the other, bro, whether you like it or not and shit. But like, this one was like, it was a small screen with like a bunch of like, you know, had your fucking like Raspberry Pis and all that shit jammed into it, but had the picture of the waifu on it. Not sexually explicit or anything like that, just sad. Just pathetic. But like, you know,
she's dressed in a pantsuit.
But, oh yeah, you know, it's like your frivolous like anime suits and shit. And it's like suggestive. Don't know what age she is and shit. That weird shit. You know how it is when it comes with the fucking anime shit.
That was a weird conversation.
Yeah. You know, it's like, it asked her a question, you know, and he'd ask her a question, and then she would respond based on like ChatGPT pulls out all this crazy AI shit and has responses, and then it would trigger another AI to create a different image to show the reaction to what the waifu was saying. And he even like tied up like a camera to it. And don't know what he wanted her to watch, but like basically he can like show, you know, something to her, and then she would, I say respond, she in the AI, she would like take that information and respond. He's like, I bought you these Nike J's for you, my love. And then like, it's like, oh my God, Air Jordans. Like, I love these. Oh my God. Thank you so much. I love them. It's like, what the fuck?
Well,
it's
his
like
actual girlfriend's in the background, like, what?
Those are my J's.
I'm here.
Those are mine.
Never buys me Jordan.
So it's like, you know, it was a little weird. He's supposedly spending like more time talking to this thing than like his real world.
Would that be a polyamorous relationship?
You know what the fuck? Pathetic is basically what it would be. Something sad as fuck. Is a good term.
Pathetic amorous.
Yeah. So
poor
like,
guy.
You know, it's pretty sad. Rest in peace. This guy's fucking waifu
relationship is done too.
Called the Chat GPT Chan was the name. I just thought it was funny that over time the AI just lost interest in talking to this fool.
Why are you being so short with me?
Nothing.
You don't take me out for dinner.
Yeah,
it's fine.
We never go out.
You don't
anymore.
ask about my feelings. You always want me to tell you about yours.
Yeah.
What do you
put down the toilet seat when you're done? What? Yeah, I mean, you know, rest in peace for this dude's dignity. You know, sad, but it is what it is. But that is it for the show. A little bit longer because we did have to do some catching up. That was quite a bit, but you know,
we do have one more thing though.
What?
We've been waiting for this.
What?
HBO release of The Last of Us comes out Sunday, January 15th.
So tomorrow,
the series premiere.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the game to show adaptation of The Last of Us, which was released on PlayStation and back in 2013. We should all know the story by now. So you just basically apocalyptic or post-apocalyptic setting, and you're the guy, the main character, has got to escort the little girl,
Mando,
who's basically the cure for this pandemic. And it's funny because it's a global pandemic.
Yeah.
So it's one of those types of shows. So I look forward to it because it's going to be an easy, for me, I see it the way it is. It's a game to show adaptation.
Transition.
It's already built for you.
So I wrote that on.
They already said it's going to be pretty accurate.
I wrote it on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it, but somebody, I think it was like Game Informer, PC Gamer or something, was bitching about how the show was literally nothing more than just cutscenes from the game. Mm-hmm. And my response was like, how is this bad? This is exactly what I want. Like I want.
Yeah, it's exactly what you want.
It's exactly what I want. Why do people keep saying that this is not what we want? I want to see the things that I love from the thing that you're adapting because I love it, put into real world scenario and live action. Like I don't want you to take something and change it. I want you to just give it to me again in a better way. What the fuck is wrong with you?
What's wrong with a game that is critically acclaimed to be one of the best games
of all time type shit.
And you trying to do one for one scenes, like I don't see anything wrong with that whatsoever.
Well, it's like take all the cutscenes from the game, and then just tie it together with additional scenes. Like, oh, that's what happened after they left that place, and that's interesting.
Right.
Like, and at the end of the episode,
and it's like, after I finish this mission, you know, that's what, you know, I was in that mission. You know, like I played that scene. That's pretty dope how they made it to real life.
Yeah, and like
that's what you're looking forward to.
Is what you're looking forward to. Yeah, it's like that's what you want. You know, so. Hopefully
Halo,
people,
on the other hand.
Bro, why you gotta bring up old shit, bro? Why you always gotta fucking bring up Halo? Talk about this shit. Stop it.
Goddamn Paramount.
The fake fire explosions and shit. I better not see that in this, dude. I swear to God.
The fucking Chevy Tahoe in the background shit. And the AK-47s. Yeah, I mean, they had a reason for all that, I guess, but...
You know, so, like, this should be an easy just transition over from game to show, and I'm...
We'll see. I'm down for it. And actors are good too. You know, we'll see. I saw a lot of the scenes back in the day when they first started filming this thing where it's like, oh, they literally recreated the exact like area from the game. Like they showed the game and it's like they literally put the bus in the exact same spot. And yeah, I was like, that's what I want. Take note, dude. Like hopefully they get the reviews that show that this is the type of game to you know, or at least transitional medium, you know, where it's like that's what we want. We do.
And the cool thing is like
what we like.
It can hold its own story. So it's like if you didn't play the game, you're gonna just watch it as a TV show, and it should be pretty good. If you played the game, you're gonna be like, oh, this is really good because it's a really good adaptation of it. So
yeah, they're going after the people that haven't been exposed to it and want to take it in. And, I mean, I'm the type where it's like I like spoilers. I like that type of shit. It encourages me to focus on other things that I can appreciate from what I'm absorbing. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, they're always scared. It's like they make a movie version of or like, you know, it's like, I don't know, The Dark Knight, the video game. You know what I mean? And it's like they're not going to make The Dark Knight one for one because that game is made to, you know, accompany the film, which they will still want you to go see the film, so they're not going to make the game identical. However, I think that if it's the other way around, that they should feel obligated to recreate what it is that people like from the video games. It's like, because it's after the fact, you know? It's like, what are you spoiling? You know what I mean? It's like, it's like me spoiling a fucking movie from like 2 years ago. It's like, what? Go watch it. It's not my fault. Like, what the fuck?
You ruined it for me.
It's like I talk about the season finale of you know, the first season finale of Mandalorian now, and people will be like, spoiler alert. Like,
I wanted to watch it all in consecutive seasons.
I wanted to wait till the entire series was over so I could all watch it. I don't give a fuck. What the fuck? Like, you shouldn't have to be. That is your fault. You know,
that is your fault.
So I'm in that headspace where it's like, give me exactly what I want when it comes to games, because, you know, we've lived through multiple Resident Evil versions, you know, adaptations. Like, what is wrong with it? Why can't you do that?
How do you not get it right?
Like, why are you so stupid? Like, it's not that hard, right? You have literally visuals
everything right in front of you.
It's in front of you right there. Just copy it, dumbass.
The game director laid it out for you.
Yeah.
Just make it real.
That's my thing.
And I think that's what this is going to do.
Hopefully.
So, I mean, based on the trailers, and I've been looking at like the people that get the early views on it, the reviews, they're saying it's pretty good. And the first episode's going to be set for like an hour and a half long. Yeah. So it's going to set the stage for the rest of it, and the rest of the show should be about 45 minutes.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, you got Mando in there, and he knows how to act. So all faith. So that is it for the show. I'm going to go into the little plug here as always. Like I said, the little show's a little bit long, but, you know, we'll work with it. Expect them a little bit shorter in the future, but, you know, we're going to lighten up a little bit and allow the shows to creep off into like hour and a half, 2 hours, because, you know, why not? But yeah, as always, you can find Nerd Chatter Podcast anywhere you can find podcasts, including Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Audible, Spotify, and basically everywhere else you can find podcasts. So make sure to subscribe or follow while you're there. If you want to check us out on social media, the including YouTube now. I changed the for our profile on YouTube, but it's at Nerd Chatter Show, and for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. All of our episodes are uploaded onto YouTube channel. So, you know, if you want to head over there and show us some love, that'd be fantastic. We also do weekly live stream shows. Play various games, drinking, that type of shit. Yeah. We're doing flying around.
It's a lot funner when we drink.
Yeah, a little more belligerent, to be honest. But flying around in flight sim last night and shit, going to Area 51 and all that crazy shit. went to North Sentinel Island trying to make contact with the Sentinelese, but they weren't there. I don't know why.
They're hiding from.
Yeah, they're hiding from me, from my boat plane or whatever. Like I said, if you're over on YouTube, you can support us by hitting that like button, subscribing, and all that good shit. It helps us grow and all that. So if you'd like to support the show in any other way, you can head on over to our Discord, where we have free games and Twitter retweet bots, cycling everything that we like retweet and like on Twitter, so you can get a nice little feed there. You can also support us by heading on over to our Patreon, where you can find additional segments, behind the scenes, and hopefully monthly commentary tracks. I'm not sure what you guys are vibing on for the upcoming season, but kind of want to get some commentary tracks for movies and stuff up there as well. Might even throw some up on the regular channel to kind of diversify the content a little bit. So that'd be pretty good. And that's pretty much it for the show.
Welcome
guys,
back.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me and having me on.
Yeah, and it's still got Garrett. He's still busy doing his other shit and juggling like website and stuff, but he'll be on. We got Bad Batch that just released, so we'll probably have him on for one of those here in the upcoming weeks.
Definitely need to watch Rebels.
It's
good shit.
I mean, I saw what they did to Dash Rendar, and I'm not happy about it, so whatever. But yeah, that's it for today's show. We'll be back on next week, chit chat a little bit more, hopefully have some juicy news and all that good shit. So we're gonna head on out. You guys take it easy.
Laters.
Later.